Spirit Airlines, the Dollar Tree of air travel and second favourite Spirit, falling far behind our beloved Spirit Halloween. Famous for rock-bottom prices and a unique flying experience. It's like that Temu dress you ordered. You knew what you were actually getting, but just couldn't ignore the price. Flying Spirit might leave you feeling fiscally responsible, but no one talks about the hidden costs. Now, Spirit Airlines does make headlines, but mostly of the tabloid kind. And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome you aboard the Flop Report. Tonight's destination, Spirit Headquarters. Take a moment to review the safety instructions card in the back of your seat pocket because we're in for a bumpy flight. Brace for impact. Spirit's Turbulent Flights. Safety is, kind of a big deal. But Spirit Airlines has a unique approach to this. We're not just talking about a little turbulence here. We're talking about the incidents that make you write your will on the back of a cocktail napkin. Like the countless times a Spirit flight had to make an emergency landing because there was smoke in the cabin, or every time an engine caught fire shortly after takeoff. And not to mention the number of crews injured from turbulent flights. Sadly, all of these experiences have defined the once coveted Spirit reputation. Now, despite these challenges, Spirit continues to fly, adapting and learning from each incident. The airline says it's committed to improving safety measures and ensuring a smoother journey for its passengers. With every flight, Spirit seemingly aims to rebuild trust and provide a safer, more reliable travel experience. Oh, if that was your experience, give a like. If not, drop a comment and tell us about it. The CEO and the Bearfare Blues. Now let's talk about the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Low Fares, the CEO of Spirit Airlines. He's the mastermind behind the Bearfare, a revolutionary concept that allows you to fly for the price of a cup of coffee, as long as you don't mind being treated like human cattle. Under his leadership, Spirit has become notorious for nickel and diming passengers for everything from carry-on bags to bottled water. They even tried to charge people for using the overhead bins. Seriously, it's only a matter of time before they start trying to charge me for my emotional baggage. Thanks, Mum. But here's the good news. People are catching on. Turns out they're realizing that maybe, just maybe, paying a few extra bucks for a slightly less soul-crushing flying experience is worth it. And as Spirit's reputation for poor service and questionable safety practices continues to grow, it's going to take more than just rock-bottom prices to fill those seats. Troubled flights, Spirit's workforce woes. It's not just the passengers who are feeling the pain of Spirit's budget-conscious approach to air travel. The airline's employees have also had their fair share of grievances. From pilots to flight attendants to baggage handlers, it seems like everyone who works for Spirit has something to complain about. There have been strikes, protests and labour disputes. Employees have complained about low wages, poor working conditions and a general lack of respect. And who can blame them? The problem for Spirit is that unhappy employees don't exactly help an already unpleasant flying experience. When your flight attendants look like they'd rather be anywhere else, it kind of puts a damper on the whole flying the friendly skies thing. And when your pilots are overworked and underpaid, well, let's just say you're flying on borrowed time. Lawsuits take flight. Spirit's legal battles. Remember that whole "it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission" thing? Yeah, well, as it turns out, that doesn't really fly in the airline industry, especially when you're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's legal and what's just plain wrong. Spirit Airlines has found itself on the wrong side of the law more times than a Karen in a Walmart parking lot. We're talking lawsuits from passengers, lawsuits from employees, lawsuits from other airlines. They've even been sued by the Department of Transportation. It's like they're collecting lawsuits like legendary Pokemon. There have been lawsuits over misleading advertising, lawsuits over baggage fees, lawsuits over safety violations. You name it, Spirit's probably been sued for it. And while they've managed to settle most of these cases out of court, the American way, the legal fees alone must be astronomical. All these lawsuits paint a pretty clear picture. Spirit Airlines has a bit of a problem with following the rules. And while their no-frills approach to air travel may appeal to some budget-conscious travellers, It's clear that their disregard for regulations and ethical business practices is catching up with them. Learning from mishaps. Can Spirit change its stripes? So after all the disastrous incidents, questionable decisions, workforce woes and legal battles, the question remains, can Spirit Airlines learn from its mistakes and turn things around? To their credit, Spirit has made some attempts to address their shortcomings. They've invested in new planes, improved their customer service training, and even started offering a few more amenities for an additional price, obvi. But the real question is whether these changes are enough to overcome their well-earned reputation as the airline everyone loves to hate. And just like your favorite ex, only time will tell if Spirit can truly reach its full potential. But one thing's for sure, they've got a long way to go before they can even think about shaking off their image as the Times Square Elmo of the airline industry. The price of frills and thrills. Let's be honest, we all love a bargain, but at what cost? Spirit's bare fare model has exposed a fundamental truth about the airline industry. You truly get what you pay for. When you choose the cheapest option, you're often sacrificing comfort, convenience, and sometimes even your safety. Spirit's relentless pursuit of low fares has forced other airlines to follow suit, leading to a race to the bottom in terms of the quality of passenger experiences. Suddenly, legroom is a luxury, and checked bags cost more than your favorite designer. It's enough to make you long for the golden age of air travel, when people dressed up for flights and you got a free meal without having to max out your credit card. Spirit's legacy may be one of both innovation and caution. They've revolutionized the industry by making air travel accessible to more people, but they've also shown us the potential pitfalls of prioritizing profit over everything else. Back to the $18 flight. A legacy of chaos and change. Remember that $18 flight we mentioned earlier? It's a perfect example of Spirit's ability to capture our attention, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. The flight, which was offered as part of a limited time promotion, sold out in minutes. But the catch? Well, it turns out there were a lot of catches. First of all, there were the taxes and fees, which more than doubled the price of the ticket. Then there were the baggage fees, the seat selection fees, and the fees for literally everything else under the sun. By the time you factored in all the extras, that $18 flight was starting to look a lot like an expensive one. But here's the thing, people still booked it, perhaps victims of the sunk cost fallacy. Because despite all the chaos, all the frustration, and all the potential for things to go horribly wrong, there's something undeniably alluring about getting a bargain, and that, in a nutshell, is the Spirit Airlines story. The spirit of controversy. A final thought. Spirit Airlines is a paradox. They're a budget airline that's become a luxury brand, a company that's both reviled and revered. They're the airline you love to hate, but you can't help but admire their audacity. They've shown us that there's a market for everything, even if that market is filled with people who are willing to sacrifice comfort and sanity for the sake of saving a few bucks. They've also shown us that there's a fine line between innovation and exploitation, and that sometimes the cheapest option comes with a hefty hidden cost. So the next time you're booking a flight and you see that Spirit Airlines is offering the cheapest fare, ask yourself this: can you really afford it? The choice, as always, is yours. But don't say we didn't warn you. And with that, we're done for now. If you've enjoyed today's flight, please leave the crew a like and subscribe as you continue on to your final destinations. Safe travels.